I love the way the First Gen Lounge makes me feel.
Because it creates a space where I belong.
Where we're able to create community.
The fact that it's a community.
It's a safe place.
It also gives me a place to understand different perspectives.
The stories of these individuals prescribe transformational perspective.
I receive encouragement, enlightenment, empowerment.
And also serve as a catalyst to just keep going.
Where we're able to be our true selves.
I'm allowed to be an unapologetic first gen.
And above all else, tell our story.
And every episode is unique.
I love it.
I'm your host, Dr. Eve, and I'd like to welcome you to the First Gen Lounge. Family, what's up? We're back. Of course we are. That's why you're here, to come and get this goodness. So, got a friend today who has lived from the very bottom of the map to the very top of it. And I'm very fascinated. Y'all know I love to know where people are from, because I think who we are is really about where we come from, what we've been through. And so she's got a clearly unique story to tell us, even, including some of the travel. I'm pretty sure she'll drop in there. But today, y'all, we have with us none other than Nangie Alexander. That name sounds like one of those, you somebody names. What's up, Nangie?
Hi. Thank you so much for having me. And that's a wonderful introduction. It's interesting. It's a long one, but it's what makes me me.
Absolutely. Well, I don't think it's as long as mine if you want to argue about that.
We could try. Okay. So, let's see. Born and raised in Miami, Florida. Left when I was 12. Lived pretty much all of Eastern Ontario, which is a province in Canada, for 10 years. And moved back to Buffalo, New York, where I currently live. So every year, I started school up until my senior year, I went to a different school.
Wow. I had a similar experience. My mom got married to a guy in the military when I was young, and we moved around a lot. So I think I lost count of how many schools I had gone to. How was that for you? Especially, thinking about the time you ended up going to college and picking one place to stay. Like, how'd that work out?
I feel like at a certain point, I just got used to it. It kind of became an expectation to me. Being stagnant in one place wasn't the norm. So I just kind of like, okay, I'm here for a year, maybe a year and a half, and that's it. But, I feel like it definitely affected just relationships, platonic or romantic, because I was just kind of like, oh, nobody's going to stay in my life, or I'm not going to stay in theirs. So why kind of build that bond? But in terms of like figuring out where to go to college and things like that, it just made it easier because I'm not used to staying in one place. So I was like, okay, the world is mine. I don't have the attachment to anywhere.
I love that. So in college, was it difficult for you to stay the entire duration of your experience, knowing that you were so used to moving around?
Actually, in college, I stayed there all 4 years, surprisingly. So it was, but I got used to it. When you're put in a position for doing things for so long, you kind of get used to it.
Yeah, I can totally agree with you on that. And somebody who, again, relates to moving around, I actually like moving around. So even now, having to stay put and having stayed put for as long as I have been, I'm just kind of like, I'm over it. But at the same time, learning how to appreciate where I am and appreciate the stillness and finding other ways to move. So I think that that's really interesting. So speaking of college, first generation college graduate, you are.
Yeah.
The world is big. The world is yours. What do you wish that you knew before you graduated from college? Like, were you like, dang, I wish somebody would have told me this?
I wish that I knew there are different professions out there. So I am, born and raised into a Haitian household. So my parents were immigrants. They immigrated to the States. And in that kind of environment and culture, it's like, if you're not a nurse or a doctor, a lawyer, heck, even a teacher, anything else besides that was kind of looked down upon. So when I went to school, I didn't really take my time to figure out who I was and what I wanted to do. So I followed in the footsteps of my best friend and did political science. But I only lasted like maybe a semester. And then I switched over to what my degree is now, which is child studies and a minor in sociology. So I wish I knew and took the time to figure out what I really wanted to do and not kind of feel pressured by my parents to do what they wanted.
So how then, just considering where you are now, how are you able to shake this idea of making them happy versus making yourself happy?
Oh, that is a great question. First thing that comes to mind is therapy. To create that boundary. I'm the youngest of 3, so I have an older sister and older brother. So there's a lot of pressure for me to kind of fill up those shoes of my siblings. And just the pressure of, my parents working so hard for creating a life for us because we immigrated twice to the States and to Canada. So that's like double pressure just to be better than they were when they were younger. So definitely therapy. I had to create those boundaries and just be like, listen, especially now, I'm not a little girl. I'm able to make my own decisions. And, you guys should trust in the fact of how you guys raised me and my own personal experiences. I'm able to make the right decisions that are best for me. I'm not your vanity project anymore. I'm a grown woman now.
It's interesting being first gen and then having this kind of almost obligation to make sure we take care of the family, but then find ourselves, and for you to be like, I'm a grown woman now. And it's kind of like, who you think you're talking to? You come from a Haitian family. So, I know there had to be a way for you to just communicate it, but just this idea of breaking free and being your own person,
Yes, I definitely didn't say it like that.
Of course. Because I don't know, Haitian mom and dad would have knocked you right on back to Canada.
She sure would. I am 27. I'm still afraid of my mama, so.
I feel you. That's what I know you would have. Like, who you think you're talking to? Oh, not you, mama. I'm playing. I was just playing. Joke. April Fools in the middle of January. I love that. But, kudos to you, though, for finding that way to even get them to acknowledge that you are an individual and you have found yourself and you are making a way, because that's something, especially you being the baby as well. I imagine there was some pressures there. Just how do you live up to, like, your siblings, or how do you not follow their shoes, and how do they not look at you and think that you're the rebel? So, yeah, that's really cool. So you get through college, you've got it figured out, or at least as much as you think you've got it figured out. Start living life. What happened? So what are some of the lessons that you have learned since coming out of school? Like, that's really kind of like, yo, I just had this whole curveball. Where'd that come from?
I really wish that I took the time to build relationships with my professors. I'm a natural introvert. So, building relationships with people that I don't know has always been such a struggle for me, especially someone that's in a position of authority. Not only just for the benefit of potentially going to grad school, but, just to have that connection, just to have that mentorship in your field, because having someone that has been through it or has some kind of experience is definitely beneficial. So definitely building those relationships with your professors, especially if you want to go into grad school, because you're going to need those references. And, it's more than just getting good grades. You're going to need somebody to vouch for you. And not only with your professors, just having a social life. I think I was in my 3rd year that I finally decided to join a sorority to kind of get out of my comfort zone, because I only had maybe 3 friends from high school that, we all went to the same college. So that kind of was difficult because we all had different schedules. So we made time for each other. But as time went on, when you're going into each year, your major gets more particular and you have certain classes that you have to take, your schedules clash. So to have friends outside of your core friends helps too, that you're branching outside of your comfort zone. So those are the 2 biggest lessons that I learned was building relationships with professors and with other students.
I love that. So what about in the workplace, in the workforce and just being on your own and even in grad school?
Lessons that I've learned? I have learned to mind my business and just keep working. Because
Nangie.
I'm so, because work drama is different. It is very different than your regular, drama with your friends or your family.
Oh, yeah.
When you work all the time, you build those relationships. But you have to keep in mind, though, those are your coworkers. They don't always have your best interests at heart because, anybody can easily snitch on you or throw you under the bus just to get ahead. So you have to you're there to get paid and to go home. Not saying to be rude or not to, kind of open up a little bit, but just stay in your lane. And that's that. That is the lane that God put you in. Okay, stay there and stay focused because there are too many opportunities for people who might be jealous of you, who want to put you down, who want to get you fired. Like, I've been through all of that. Doing what you're supposed to do and everything will work out.
And it ain't fun either, is it?
Oh gosh, no. Like, my job when I first came back to Buffalo, like, this girl literally told me, like, she didn't like me because I took her position.
Oh.
And it's like, well, I applied for it. It's not my fault. You were not qualified for the position. Oh. So what you want me to do about it?
That's really interesting. So you go through college, grad school, get your job and stuff. I'm pretty sure the path to entrepreneurship was something that came up somewhere in all of that, or maybe even after. But that's why I'm asking, because I want to know what even led you to the work that you're doing now, especially with Mind Over Motherhood.
So what kind of got me into being entrepreneurship is after having my first daughter, I experienced postpartum depression like crazy. It hit me like a Mack truck. So I was going through just that process of finding who I am besides being a wife and a mother and a daughter and a sister and a friend, just figuring out who Nangie is. And I was struggling with that. And I kind of just reached into my childhood and things that I've done throughout school and stuff. And I noticed that I absolutely love to write. I have so many journals. I've always written stories and things like that when I was younger. So I was like, okay, why not use that as something to do as a hobby? Because it started off as a hobby, kind of a way to express how I was feeling during the day, kind of an outlet before I even got to therapy. So just using all of those experiences and just kind of like, wait, maybe there's other women out there, especially Black women, who might be going what I'm going through. Why not bring that to life in a social space?
Absolutely. Would you have imagined this was going to be something that would even be a path for you or something that you'd be doing?
No, not at all. Because, entrepreneurship wasn't something that was really talked about in my household or in my group of friends. So it wasn't something that I knew that was possible. You grow up, you're just like, your parents like education. Education is great.
Right.
Nothing wrong with that. But there are other options out there too. Education is not for everybody because everybody is different. So.
Absolutely. What have you enjoyed the most about, this entrepreneur aspect of who you are and what you're doing and how you're even growing?
I enjoy just connecting with other like-minded individuals. It doesn't necessarily have to be specified to motherhood. It could just be, other Black women. Because, we have that stereotype that we're only here to put each other down. And that's far from the truth. So to connect with other Black women, such as yourself, I was like, I have to do this. Like, she's amazing. I love it.
Oh, gosh, thank you.
And just build that community and build that sisterhood with other like-minded individuals who are doing their thing. And you can learn from them too.
Yeah, I love that. That's something I love about it. Just the level of ambitiousness that I'm finding in people, the creativity as well, and how so many individuals are taking, just like you did, a unique life experience and making something of it to help others. And I love platforms that are built around community. I'm really big on community, especially as someone who's first gen, like, you'd understand, and being a person that at the end of the day, I have to make sure I can sustain myself, especially when I'm finding myself in new environments where I feel like people may not understand like what I'm going through. So it's like, yeah, you may not understand, back at home, what it's like to do a bachelor's or to get to grad school, but to have a community of people who are like, yeah, I get it. And I'm crying with you and I'm laughing with you and I'm pushing you because this APA is showing its ass. So like all of that, it's a different conversation. And so community became really big to me as I continued to matriculate because I understood its significance in helping me, get to where I am. So thank you again for what you do. And I'm definitely excited to hear how you think about the women that you're meeting. And I'm even more fortunate to be a part of the tribe, so I'm loving it. So the flip side though, what has made entrepreneurship want to beat your head up against the wall? Because I know it's been something.
Oh my gosh, being consistent. Oh Lord, I struggle with that so bad, being consistent and just being able to take myself seriously. That's one thing that I wish that I did differently. Because, I feel like just as individuals, we all suffer a little bit from imposter syndrome.
Sure.
So I was like, I'm not good enough. Oh, there's already so many other Black women in this space, in this niche. Why am I doing this? But it's like everybody's story is different and we tell it differently. So just to be like, okay, God didn't give me this idea for no reason. So why not use the talents that I have and, share with the world? And it's very difficult to just pretty much expose yourself to strangers, but it's helping somebody. And that's just the best reward. But being consistent is the number one thing that I struggle with.
No, understood. So what then have you done, for the person who's listening to this, who's also struggling with the same thing? What have you done, if anything, to help you with that? Or what are some things you plan on doing?
I currently have about 2 whiteboard calendars and like a big old blank whiteboard that I use to just like mind dump ideas. I have so many journals and like I use my calendar, I use my phone, and I rely heavily on my husband. He without him, honestly, Mind Over Brotherhood wouldn't even be a thing.
Come on, hubby. Okay.
He pushed me to do it. He's like, you have a gift, use it. And I was like, okay, fine. So just having that support system and that accountability partner, because he's always like, okay, what have you done today? Have you done something for yourself? Have you done any content? Then I'm just like, no. And he's like, okay, I got the girls. You do what you need to do. So,
shout out to G. Alexander for holding it down.
He's the best. He's amazing.
Come on, babe. Really? What have you accomplished today? What have you done for yourself? Really?
Yeah. Every day.
I'm just going to text my husband and be like, babe. No, but like for real though, my husband is incredible because every day he asks me, how was your day? What is something that made you proud today? Or what is something that you accomplished, that makes you feel good? And even just the idea of how was your day after I know he's had a long day. He still wants to know how I'm doing. But what did you do for yourself today? I'm just going to add that to my own question for myself, and he may be even asking, babe, what did you do for yourself today? Because I'm going to turn the table. Okay, then. Right. Look at this, life and love, all of it, girl. And I love that he's your best friend too. So that's beautiful.
Oh yeah. He definitely holds me accountable. So having, some kind of support system, it could be a partner, a best friend, or some random stranger and on Facebook and one of the many Facebook groups, just to have somebody that checks in, be like, okay, what is it that you need to do? How can I help you? That's my life. So like I have so many like whiteboards and calendars that I'm writing down ideas, so I don't have them in my head to cause myself anxiety. Like, oh my gosh, there's so much that I need to do. It's there. I can see it and I can categorize it. So that kind of helps me be consistent and having a lot of reminders on my phone. Like
a lot of them. Like every time I turn around, the phone going off. Like, what is this now? I love it. And like you said, even in the random strangers and Facebook groups, you said that being funny, but that's for real though.
It is real. I'm doing like 2. I'm like doing 2 challenges for the month of February. So that's just seeing other people, post regularly. I'm like, oh man, like she's doing that. Like she has the goal that I want to reach. Like, okay, I need to amp it up. You see other people doing what you want to do. So it gives you that motivation to do better for yourself.
Absolutely. And then sometimes people who you don't know hold you more accountable than people that you do know.
They sure
And
do.
I ain't trying to throw no shade, but there's people who like, if you're in a similar space with like-minded people, that ambition that they have, they want to have it and share it. And so having someone like yourself around with whom they can do that is exciting because I witnessed it firsthand that I've met many people that we connected on some LinkedIn, something on some Clubhouse, something on some Instagram, something. And I'm just like, dang, but we come because we are, again, in a similar space. And I've wanted to connect and say, hey, I see what you're doing and I know how hard it can be. I'm cheering for you. So shout out to you for saying though, because I don't want people knocking the strangers, because the strangers be out there.
They really do. They really, man,
They be out there
more than your family does. That's, if you're not throwing shade, I'm throwing the whole forest. It's just to keep it real.
But I'm gonna say something to that though, like for real, because I had an experience recently that was a reminder that, at the end of the day, our families, our friends, people that we know support us, but we shouldn't expect them to be the support. I'll definitely say that. And I learned that a while ago. But for people who are listening, sometimes we can be so quick to be mad at family for not helping us in the way we hope them to. But a lot of times our family aren't our customers. Our friends aren't our customers. And they also don't get it because they're so close to us. So it's easy to like look over something or not understand it because, oh, Nangie, you my girl. Or like, that's my sis, or you my cousin. It's like, you don't need me. Or like, well, I don't know what you're doing. No way she's doing something. Whereas people who are on the outside watching have a tendency to see it from how it's helping them. So that's one way I've been able to resolve being mad. I'm going to just say that for real. And, but you're right though. You still right, because you can still, just still buy for somebody, whatever you do, like sponsor it.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I've learned to have a little bit more grace, because I used to be upside, and I stopped counting and keeping up, because giving my attention to those folks isn't me appreciating the people who really showing up. Because sometimes it'll be people like, you've been following me for how long? You've been connecting me for how long? You read what? You watched what? Oh my gosh. And it's like,
right.
You're really down. So shout out to all the down people that's out there.
Exactly. We appreciate you.
Family, friends, and especially the strangers who will become family and friends. So I'm with it. I love it though. But you're right. I ain't gonna say you're wrong. You're right. Because I've been there. But that is so funny. So just even think, now, what are some of the things that, in motherhood, wifehood, adulthood, entrepreneurhood, all the hoods, what are you doing to invest in yourself as a whole? So like, I like Bae's question, right? That what have you doing for yourself? So what are you doing for yourself that maybe some of us can adopt and do for ourselves too?
I really take the time to journal, even if it's not actually in a book, like on my phone. It doesn't have to be long sentences or just bullet journaling, just whatever's on my mind, just writing it down, just releasing it. Writing is like a form of release to me. Like whatever it is, I see it, I feel it, I acknowledge it, and then we keep it pushing.
Absolutely.
Sometimes, the other day, like I did my nails. I got these really cute press-ons, and like, ooh, I haven't done my nails since this pandemic started. So, I just did my nails. Something really simple that is just for me. It doesn't have to be extravagant, like going to a spa. It could just be, you putting on chapstick, you taking the shower. If we're being real for all the moms out there, you're brushing your teeth for the first time in 2 weeks. It's something for you that you are doing for yourself. It has nothing to do with your partner, with your kids, nothing. It's the smallest thing. Watching a YouTube video, listening to your favorite song, making your favorite dish. It doesn't have to be extravagant. That's one thing I learned. It doesn't have to be something so big. It could be as simple as taking a shower or, eating your favorite ice cream. It's the little things that I've learned make the greatest impact, because I took that time out for myself. The kids could be hollering. I'm like, I'm taking this moment. It's for my good and even for your good that I take time for me to reset, to recenter, and then I'll jump back into whatever that I need to do.
While I'm not a mother yet, I do like that you said that just doing it anyway because of that balance. I have friends who have children, and one thing that I can say just watching them outside looking in is that it's a never ending thing. Like motherhood is 24/7, 365, 366, whatever it may be. And to even mention like this idea of just taking that step back and being okay with doing for you, because the kids will be okay. I appreciate that. And especially to the mothers who, have an opportunity to listen to this, let this be your reminder if you haven't been taking care of yourself. From Nangie, of course, because I'm just kind of reiterating what she said. But, the reminder to just be cool with, finding that space and that time to exist even and to breathe, because my goodness, if I could help my friends more, a lot of times like I would, but they know I'm the childless friend. So they tend to not want to send their kids my way because they just like, Eve, you don't have kids for a reason. I'm like, yeah, you know, but I mean, I have my reasons, but I'm willing to support them if I can. You know, a couple hours probably, but yeah, I try my best.
People like you that do that are so appreciated because a lot of women, you know, don't have that support. So anything, even if it's just 20 minutes so your friend can take a nap, trust me, she might not say it all the time, but you are a godsend. So you are appreciated, and everybody else that do that are angels walking on this earth, honestly.
Oh man, I definitely appreciate you. But to all y'all who listen, though, try to call me, asking me to watch the kids. Now, I didn't say do that. Okay? Most of my friends know me enough to know if they really need to call on me because they need something, they need help. You know, I'm the friend, like, I got you. Like, I don't mind. But I know, you know, when it comes to children, I'm very mindful because I even think about eventually having my own and what that looks like about who I want my kids around or who I can trust, right? Because you can't trust everybody with your kids, kind of like your puppies and your cats and whatever else. You can't trust everybody with them because they don't love them the same. And so to have a community of people who are willing to say, yeah, I may not be skilled in this, but I am responsible enough to be able to do this, and this is really helpful. So I love that. But oh my goodness, the conversation just flows. I love it when it's like this. Like, I feel like we've known each other for a while, actually, because it's kind of like, gosh, you know, it's just so natural. I love it when it's so natural. And I actually want to like talk to you more and more and more. But again, I try to be committed to the fact that we want the people to be able to listen and enjoy, but get on about their business. So we're going to let them do that because, you know, we love y'all. Right. So with that in mind, just, you know, to one of my favorite questions, and I ask everybody this, 2 questions I always ask: who are you, what you do? And then this last one, if you had a piece of advice or words of wisdom that you would like to share with us, what would that be?
All right. So I'll start with the first one. So as you know, our wonderful host said, I'm Nangie Alexander, and I'm a lifestyle blogger focusing on motherhood, faith, and a little bit of hair. And I'm also a stay-at-home mom of soon to be 3 and a wife of 4 years in March.
Congrats.
Piece of advice is to give yourself grace. That's just been, you know, my motto, word of the year, is to give yourself some grace. Not every day is going to be perfect. Not every day is going to be as you planned it. Everything happens for a reason. Every day is a new day. You know, take whatever task that you were supposed to do today, prioritize it for the next day. And take that time for yourself to regroup, to organize yourself, and keep it pushing. Because life is too short to be upset over something in retrospect could be so small. But give yourself a break.
I take that too. Although I'm not a mom, I'm going to take that too. Thank you. I love that. You're very welcome. The grace is great. I love that, the word. Do you do words of the year too, though? Is that something that you do?
Yes, I do.
What's your word for this year?
Not settling. I know it's a long word or words, but not to settle. I did that too much in 2020. I made too much excuses for myself. So I had to constantly remind myself what are excuses. And we both know.
Tools of incompetence.
Exactly. So I had to just be like, okay, yes, you have all of these other things going on. You have 2 little girls. You're about to have a baby boy. You have a husband. You got to take care of everybody. But, you know, not to not make excuses for yourself.
Absolutely. I'm here for it. Well, you have been quite a joy to have here today.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
You're so very welcome. Look, it was fun. We'll probably have to come back, you know, after baby number 3 and like, where are you now? And
I will gladly do that. Gladly.
That you said you are, you know, a wife, a stay-at-home mom, a blogger. You got a husband who fully supports you. To be a Black woman and to have this, I don't want to say it's taboo, but I don't know too many people in the same, you know, boat that you're in. And even just how, you know, navigating that, how to make these decisions from a like life, love, and marriage perspective. Just so many things that you have to offer. And I just really appreciate it. And, you know, I appreciate just you showing up and being yourself. And again, shout out to G. Alexander for being the homie over there and holding you down and the family. That's quite a lot, but not a lot in a bad way. It takes 2 special people to live the kind of life you live. I would say that, especially from these Black households. I'll say that as well. But we're going to leave that for another day. But you know.
That's a whole conversation. If you guys want to hear it, you know, let her know, harass her. I'll gladly come back.
Harass her, I'll come back. I love it. I'm here for the harassment. But no, really well, make sure you go and check the show notes to get that link to the full show notes that you can connect to Nangie G everywhere she may be. Oh, was spitting them bars today. That being said, it's on, well, Nangie, I said Nangie G, it's not even Nangie A, but Nangie everywhere she may be. Boom, got him. But definitely on social media, especially Instagram, we're going to have all that there. So please go holler at her. And again, Nangie, thank you for your grace, for your authenticity, for your wisdom, and continue to wish you well in everything that you do. And know that we got you, girl.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I love y'all. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It was much needed today. Definitely. To have a conversation with an adult.
I'm with it. All right. Until the next time, we'll talk to you.
All right.